For the longest time, it felt like we all knew who was leading the AI race, right? A couple of big names, a pretty clear path. Well, it turns out the whole thing just got flipped on its head. Let's dig into how the underdog is suddenly out in front.
So, really, who is winning the AI race? I bet you have a name in your head right now. Well, get ready to throw that idea out the window because the latest data, it's telling a completely different story.
Okay, so check this out. According to what's called the Kalshi prediction market, Google's Gemini has just rocketed into the lead. We're talking a 59% chance of being the top AI by the end of 2025, and the old frontrunner, ChatGPT, it's way back at 20%. Grok is even further behind at 15%. I mean, that's a huge shift in where people are putting their money and their confidence.
So, why does this matter? You might be thinking, it's just another poll, right? Well, not exactly. A prediction market is different because people are betting real money on what's going to happen. And that's what makes it so powerful. When you've got skin in the game, your bet isn't just a casual opinion. It shows what you really believe is going to happen. And we're not talking about pocket change either. There's over $7.4 million being traded just on this one question. So this isn't just a few big players making wild bets. This is a real, broad consensus from the market, and right now it is pointing straight at Gemini. Okay, so the big question is, how did this even happen? How did Gemini manage to pull so far ahead, seemingly out of nowhere? Well, it looks like it wasn't one big, flashy, ta-da moment. It was something a lot quieter, a strategy of just steady, methodical progress. It really comes down to Google's strategy of just consistently shipping useful updates. They're putting Gemini into cars with partners like Volvo. They're adding cool creative features like a storybook mode. And they're actually listening to users, adding things like temporary private chats to deal with privacy concerns. And on top of all that, they've been quietly improving the core model's reasoning, so it just gives better answers. It's that slow and steady wins the race approach that's really paying off. But look, Gemini's rise is only one half of the story here. To really get the full picture, we have to look at the other side. And that's all about how its biggest rivals are starting to stumble. Yeah, the competition is hitting some serious headwinds, but for totally different reasons. You've got OpenAI, and they're dealing with a major user backlash. People are just not happy. Their latest model really didn't meet the massive expectations, and now there are complaints about its quality all over the place. Then you have Elon Musk's Grok. That's a whole other can of worms. It's getting hit with accusations of political bias, and frankly, it's just struggling to show it can hang with the big dogs. I mean, things got so bad for OpenAI that their CEO, Sam Altman, literally had to go on X to defend the model. When the CEO has to step in and say, no, really, it's good, things are not going smoothly behind the scenes. But here's the thing. It's not just a three-horse race anymore. Not by a long shot. While these giants are duking it out, the whole AI field is getting way more crowded, and honestly, a lot more chaotic. And these new challengers, they're not playing it safe. I mean, look at Perplexity, a relatively small player making a wild $34.5 billion offer to buy Google Chrome. The whole thing. And then you've got China's DeepSeek, which just dropped a model that's a genius at solving super advanced math problems. So what this tells us is that new, super specialized players are jumping in, and it's making the whole race way more unpredictable. Whew. All right, let's take a breath. We've got a new leader, we've got the old frontrunners stumbling, and we've got these crazy new challengers shaking things up. So what does this all mean? What happens next? So let's just recap where we are. Gemini is in the lead, all thanks to its steady, practical updates. At the same time, both ChatGPT and Grok are losing ground. ChatGPT is suffering from disappointed users, and Grok is tangled up in issues with bias and just trying to keep up. What this whole shakeup really shows us is that the rules of the game have changed. Winning in AI isn't just about having the most famous brand or the biggest launch party anymore. Now, it's all about consistent execution, what your users actually think of your product, and watching your back for those bold newcomers who are ready to change everything. And that leaves us with a really interesting question, doesn't it? As this whole thing keeps evolving, who's going to win in the end? Is it the company with the absolute best, most powerful tech? Or is it the one that just plays the game smarter, making the best strategic moves along the way? Right now, that is anyone's guess.